Modern society as we know it has quickly devolved into chaos as the coronavirus is triggering office and school closures, major event cancellations, and harsh travel restrictions for Americans. But the televangelist Jim Bakker has been taking all this and making it into an opportunity. I have Molly Barrows with me to talk about. You actually have interviewed this nutcase in the past.
As soon as I saw this story, I thought, this is just so fitting, because I grew up watching him on TV. I remember the scandals back in the 80s when he was busted for fraud and having an affair with his secretary, and it led to accounting allegations that proved to a conviction. And so when he got out of prison for all of that related to his evangelical empire, his televangelical empire, if you will, it also included, Six Flags Over Jesus, some kind of an amusement park in South Carolina. But
so he was. They locked him up.
They locked him up.
Wire fraud.
Yeah. He's like, give me your money. I'm using it for Jesus, and he was using it for himself.
Every kind of fraud. So you interviewed him, and he probably called you a demon after the interview or something.
Right.
Close.
So they sent me to go interview him, and I interviewed him one day, and then the next day I covered him as he was speaking at a local Assembly of God church, and I met his new wife, Lori, and as he was up there in the pulpit, he's like, the media is the devil. They're all terrible.
And she's here.
And this one that was here yesterday, and I'm sitting there in the pew going,
okay.
I love Jesus.
Okay.
I don't think I'm a devil.
Okay, so here we go.
Yeah.
Now he's up there telling these people that I don't know who these people are. I don't know who the people are that would send him $1,000 for his coronavirus snake oil.
Well, and
but they're doing it, right?
They are, and that's exactly what's going on. So his new televangelism business is based in Missouri, and that's where he has been on a show, his own show, The Jim Bakker Show, simple to remember, and also on his website, touting that he has a cure called Silver Soul, that's one of the names for this, where it can cure various strains of the SARS virus, which is what the coronavirus is, within 12 hours. Said, we haven't tested on this particular strain, but we feel good about it, and the government even knows that it can kill any pathogen that comes in its path, including HIV. And so the more you look into it, his whole website, his whole ministry, if you will, his angle is geared towards survivalism. It's the end of times, and he sells a whole array of products on his website, this is off now.
Yeah, his message is apocalyptic, end of times, you got to do something.
Right.
And
so take these vitamins.
I have some vitamins for you.
Yeah.
So when the zombies come, you're going to be okay.
When you're in your basement.
So this is almost so outrageous, it's even hard to carry on a conversation.
It hurts my heart for the people that spend money on this free.
They do. They spend
I agree.
thousands and thousands of dollars. But the government is allowing it to happen.
Well, the FDA stepped in, finally.
What about the Department of Justice? I mean...
Well, they declined to pursue charges way back in the day, initially when it came
politically,
up. Yeah.
It was politically motivated. The Department of Justice, which is simply nowadays an extension of politics, but even back then, they didn't want to go after Jim Bakker because he had this huge following of evangelicals. Are they going after him now?
I don't know. The state of Missouri, now as far as the bigger picture of the DOJ, now the state of Missouri is suing him for basically saying, you can't be putting these fraudulent products on there and making these false claims.
But what about throwing him in jail again? I mean,
that is a good point. Now, this all just started this week. We'll see where it goes. But I think you're right. I think that's something that there needs to be public outcry over this, because he's taking advantage of a vulnerable population, exactly like what he got in trouble for back in the 80s. And he's marketing, taking advantage of their fear and their faith to line his pockets, is what it seems like to me. And I mean, it's what he did before, and it's probably what he's going to do again. But the FDA sent him a cease and desist letter as well, because there's a public state of emergency.
But again, why are we going through all these hoops? Why doesn't the Department of Justice go down there and do what they're supposed to do? Take him away and say the stuff that you're doing violates some basic laws.
And he's doing what he did back then.
And oh, by the way, you've already been in prison for this.
Right. But that's interesting, because when I was recapping all of that back in, the FTC wanted to investigate him, or the FCC rather, immediately, almost as soon as he launched his ministry back in 1979. They found that he was basically misusing funds then. He was, asking for donations and then ended up spending it on personal items or to run his other businesses, and wasn't using it towards ministry like he promised.
Well, he hasn't been accused of that here.
No, but the DOJ looked into that and declined to press charges. So you're talking, you're going back almost about 40 years, and they declined to press charges. And if it was political reasons there, maybe there's political reasons now at play, because he's doing the same thing. He's like, hey, it worked for me before. Hey, let me just see.
Can we get you to go interview him again?
I would love it.
Okay. Molly Vygotsky, thank you for joining me.
All right. Thanks, Pat.